Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This is episode number 87, and in this episode, it's going to be the last episode that we're going to be taking on the battle CDs that we've been picking up over the course of the last few episodes. We picked up a bunch in Phoenix City, Pirate Town, all that stuff. We've gone over it a couple of times, and we're finally going to finish up with what we have left over. And this battle CD is going to be battle CD number 44, and it's going to include more legendary Pokemon, as some of the previous ones have been doing as well. And on the opponent's side, she's going to start out with Regirock, and we're going to start out with Raikou on our side. So it's going to be the legendary Golems on the opponent's side, so to speak, quote unquote, and the legendary dogs on our side yet again. We're going to open with Thunder from Raikou. On Regirock, hopefully you can get a paralysis condition, but I actually recommend using Protect on that turn because Regirock almost will always go for an explosion. I tried to see if I could get lucky there, and that just did not happen, so Explosion is going to take out the both of us at the same time. So, it's 2-on-2 now. Alright, so I'm going to send out Entei next as my second Pokemon. I like Entei, despite what people say about him. I think he's pretty good. Regice is the next Pokemon for the legendary Golem side. So the good news is that Entei has the advantage over 2 out of 3 of these Pokemon. So go for a Fire Blast on Regice, and it'll take away about half of its HP. And on the first turn, Regice will almost always go for an Amnesia. So that's going to sharply increase its defenses when it comes to special attacks. And it also has a Citrus Berry in order to recover 30 HP. I guess worth of damage. So, Fire Blast from here on out is not going to do nearly as much damage as it did on the first turn, and Regice is going to slowly but surely whittle down our health with Thunderbolt. So, after it uses Amnesia once, it's almost better to use Stomp, because at least then you get a chance of getting a flinch condition, and there's a better chance of getting a flinch condition than there is getting a burn with Fire Blast. So, and at least Stomp has 100% accuracy, whereas Fire Blast only has 85. So, I recommend sticking with Stomp. If you miss the first turn with Fire Blast and don't even hit him before he gets an Amnesia off, that can be very difficult to do any damage to Regice at all. Okay, so, after Regice goes down, we're just left with the Registeel, the pure Steel type, so you can go back to Fire Blast. And that's, again, going to take about half of its health away. And it's going to finish you off very quickly with an Earthquake. So Entei is going to go down there. But there's not a whole lot that you can do about that. If you have Raikou at this point, Raikou will also go down very easily in one hit to that Earthquake. So you do need to be careful. This Registeel can be very dangerous. It also has leftovers, so it will recover a little bit of health every turn. Once you get Suicune out on the field, I recommend going for a Hydro Pump. But unfortunately for us, that missed. And then he goes for an Amnesia, which is just bad news for us all the way around. Plus the leftovers recover a little bit of HP. So we're going to try this again, although expecting it not to do that much damage. Oh, we get a critical hit. And we kind of got lucky there, but at the same time, Registeel goes down either way. If we were able to hit on the first turn, we would have been able to knock him out in this turn. But I guess it all evened out in the end. And that's how you beat this battle CD. And this one actually has 2 sides, as well as many of these battle CDs that we've been doing. So we're going to switch teams, and we're going to do the Golems on our team and the legendary dogs on the other team. We also get a Salac Berry for completing this battle CD, which is pretty cool. That berry will increase your speed in a pinch, so it's good for the reversal combo with Endure and all that stuff, because when your HP gets low, it will bump up your speed so you can get a surefire first strike in. Alright, so for battle CD number 45, we're going to switch teams, as I mentioned before, and I think this side might actually be a little bit easier. I don't know. So we have Sim Trainer Kookie. I think that's the coolest name ever, Kookie. I don't know how else you would pronounce that. I like to give alternatives to pronouncing names, but I just don't think it's going to work out this time. I'm just going to stick with Kookie, because it sounds cool. So, Kookie's going to start out with Raikou, and we're going to start out with Regice instead of Regirock like in the last time. So, what should we do here? I recommend going for an Amnesia to bolster your special defenses. And as long as he doesn't get a critical hit, Thunderbolt just really won't be able to do any damage. Because as you can see, it didn't do a whole lot even without Amnesia. And now that we do have an Amnesia up, it's going to do even less damage. Instead of going for a Thunderbolt on this turn, it goes for a double team to increase its evasiveness, which actually isn't a bad move, especially considering the fact that Ice Beam only has 10 PP, and Raikou and actually all of these dogs have the pressure ability, so which means we can only use 5 Ice Beams. Thunderbolt again from Raikou, and dang, that really does just about nothing, to the point of where maybe Dragon Rage would do more damage, which is really sad. Ice Beam thankfully hits for a second turn in a row, and if we can hit one more time and get kind of lucky here after a second double team that Raikou's going to go for on this turn, we'll be good to go, although I doubt it. Oh no, it actually does hit. I don't know how that happened, but who am I to complain? Raikou goes down after a third Ice Beam, and we didn't really get scratched too much. Okay, so Entei, the predictable next Pokemon, is coming out, and he's probably going to go for a Fire Blast. Oh, he doesn't know Fire Blast, he knows Flamethrower. So their attacks aren't as powerful. As you can see, Raikou also had Thunderbolt instead of Thunder, so I guess it makes sense for Entei to have Flamethrower instead of Fire Blast. I would presume that that would also mean that Suicune would have Surf instead of Hydro Pump, but that remains to be seen. Flamethrower yet again on Regice, and because of the Amnesia, we're able to survive a couple of these hits and get a few Thunderbolts off, which is good. And it doesn't matter how much damage we do, really. As long as we get at least one hit in, we'll be okay, because we're going to bring out a Pokemon that can use Earthquake next to finish off Entei very quickly. So, finally, a third Flamethrower is able to knock out Regice there, and yeah, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Regice put up a good fight. So, let's see what we have here. Looks like Regirock is the one that we want to bring out because he's resistant to Entei's Flamethrower and also has 2 attacks that are going to be super effective. That'll be Rock Slide and Earthquake. I recommend you go for Earthquake at this point because Earthquake has the higher accuracy rating over the Rock Slide, though, even though it has Stab, because Earthquake is going to kill him either way. So we'll take one Flamethrower, hope that it doesn't burn you, which thankfully it doesn't burn us there, and we're able to knock Entei out with an Earthquake. So it's 2-on-1 now. The problem becomes that Regirock is very weak to Suicune's water type moves, so we'll see. And apparently Suicune does indeed have Hydro Pump and not Surf like I thought. It does connect with Hydro Pump, unfortunately, and that's going to bring Regirock down. So, it's 1-on-1 now. Registeel versus Suicune. We'll see how this goes. We don't have a type advantage, and in fact our only attack move is actually double-edged. So, what we're going to do is go for a little bit of an unconventional way of defeating Suicune here. Hydro Pump, as you can see, does a pretty good amount of damage. But the first thing that we want to do is Toxic on Suicune to get him badly poisoned. So the amount of poison damage is going to increase each turn. So as you can see, it does almost nothing this turn, but each turn hereafter is going to keep getting worse. Hydro Pump missed that turn, which really helped us, and it allowed us to get a free Amnesia off. So now Hydro Pump is going to have a hard time doing any damage. And we're just going to keep using Amnesia as much as possible. Another Hydro Pump, and as you can see, doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. And it's going to do even less damage now because we get another Amnesia off. Meanwhile, while Suicune can barely do any damage to us, that poison damage is going to be slowly but surely eating away at Suicune's health until eventually it's not going to be able to take it anymore. And it's probably only going to last 2 more turns. So let's see, we just need to buy 2 more turns. We already maxed out our special defense, so now it's going for Facade, which still is not very effective, so it's not going to do that much to begin with. Registeel's defense is so incredibly high. We're going to make it higher by going for a Curse to decrease our speed, which is already slower than Suicune's, in order to increase our attack and our defense. And instead of letting Suicune die of poisoning, we're going to add insult to injury here and kill it with a double edge after letting Toxic do all of this damage for us. And Suicune is going to go down, leaving us with 36 HP left. And that's going to be it. We pretty much outmaneuvered that Suicune pretty effectively there. And that's going to be it for Battle CD number 45. Clear both sides of that in one episode. Awesome. That's productivity right there. And I don't remember what we get. Oh yeah, it's another Salac Berry, I think. Yep, another Salac Berry indeed. And now we're going to move on away from the Battle CDs and head back to the Pokemon HQ lab to get some purification done. Alright, we're back at the HQ lab, and we have a couple of Pokemon that need to be purified, 3 to be exact. And the first one that we're going to be doing at this time is Arbok, the pure poison type. It's the evolution of the Kanto Pokemon Ekans. And I always thought it was interesting because the lower evolved form, Ekans, is snake spelled backwards, whereas Arbok is cobra spelled backwards. So, I don't know. Cobra with a K, though, but still. Anyway, this Arbok is pretty useful because it does come with Refresh, and it also comes with Sludge Bomb, so you do not have to teach it to him via a TM, which is always nice. And Arbok, I think, is very underrated when it comes to poison types. Alright, so we have Hypno here. It's the evolution of Drowsy. It's a pure psychic type, and it is a special defending tank. This thing can take a lot of hits when it comes to special attacks, so it can absorb a lot of dark type moves, which is something that a lot of psychic types can't do. It does come with the move Psychic, and I think it also comes with Brick Break and an unusual Baton Pass. So if you want to give it Meditate, Baton Pass is a good way to pass on some attack raising abilities. Alright, and our third Pokemon that we're going to be purifying is Primeape, the pure fighting type. It's the evolution of Mankey, and it has the Vital Spirit ability, so it cannot be put to sleep. It's very similar to Insomnia. We went over this a little bit when we were doing the Battle CD with the Mankey. So it can't be put to sleep, which is very useful. It also comes with the move Cross Chop, which is an amazing fighting type move with a high critical hit ratio, and Helping Hand, which is not as awesome, but I think it also comes with Rock Slide as a secondary move somewhere in there, so that's good for taking out flying types. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned for episode number 88. Game on.